And we are live. What's up, people? You know it is. It's your boy, Big Tank Hank, coming at you with a new live stream. You see him, and you love him. It's Ryan, the lucky schmuck. We're going to find out where that comes from, too, of Wild Fish Tanks. Welcome in, sir. Welcome in.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Hey, most definitely, man. I've been looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to it. I said I'm gonna shoot my shot at him and see, you know what I'm saying? See what he gonna do. And you're here, man. You're here. Thank you.
No, good to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Oh, most definitely. Chad looking a little thick here tonight. Thank y'all for coming in. Skippers Aquatics, Color Guppies, Madrill Sing, what's going on? Tank Top Tropics, All Things Fish, Collaboration of Curiosities, GRB, good day, mate. I Hate Stupid People, Tank Tribe, Deborah Lewis, MSC Aquatics. I haven't seen you before. Welcome in. Greg the Guppy Guy, Pepperland Creek Aquatics, Patrick Hardy. We got a raid here. I think they're coming from Danikins. We trying to get Candy to 1,000, or is she at 1,000 yet? Somebody fill me in. Bottom Dwellers Aquatics, Natural Aquariums. See, we got Chubby Guppy, Michael Long. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. S, how you do? Chattanooga Ed, what's going on, man? Who else? Dan Sleeves in the house. Fishy Beers Aquatics, what's cracking? Pepperland Creek, how do? Well done, Tanks. What's going on, Trent? What's going on? HSIF Moore, how do? Mr. Bob Kayla, how do? Gnarly Fish Tanks. All right. Am I caught up? Yeah, I'm caught up. Thank y'all for coming in. I got a treat for y'all. Because I know y'all watch this man's channel like I have. And we've seen growth. I mean, we've seen his fish room transformation. I mean, his rack building, his going out and collecting native fish. I mean, it's because of him I have least killifish here in my house. You know, if I'm gonna be real about it, we're gonna dive deep into his life as far as he let us go anyway. Danikin, what's happening? Yeah. Thank you for coming through, sir. So introduce yourself to the people, to maybe the one person on here who don't know you.
I'm sure there's plenty that don't know me, but good to see everybody. I see everybody in the chat. Good to see. I'm not going to go over everybody's name again, but thank you all for joining us here, man. I definitely thank you for having me, man. It's good to be here. Good to be back. Hadn't been uploading videos in a while. Put one out this morning, so yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, I saw you boom or bust. I saw you.
Yeah, I got. I was really surprised with the cherry shrimp. Like, I mean, there's a third year in a row we've done shrimp, and we've always done okay, but that was by far the most success I've had. And yeah, I'm hoping this year I'll be more successful with the rice fish out there, but we'll see.
Okay. Hey, Miss Candy, I hadn't seen you in a while. Thank you for coming. How do? MNC Aquatics. Who else did I get it? J-Dog slid in. Karma. All right. So, Ryan, tell us a little bit about John Larson. What's going on? Tell us a little bit about young Ryan, you know, where you grew up, some of the people that were integral in you being in the fish hobby, some of the things you did as a kid.
So, yeah, I grew up. I'm from Long Island, New York. Big shout out. There's a few other fish keepers. I know there's a guy. Actually, I don't know if you know him. He's on Instagram. I'm not sure if he has a YouTube channel, Barrier Island Aquatics. But he's also, I think that's his name, Barrier Island Reef Fish Keeping. But he's also into least keely fish and a lot of the little native livebearers like you and me. So big shout out to all the other fish keepers on Long Island. But yeah, I actually didn't grow up with a lot of fish tanks. I didn't have a lot of people in my life and my family that were fish keepers per se. I was more into fishing actually, which is something I haven't been doing a lot lately, but I want to do some more of. But yeah, I grew up on Long Island doing a lot of fishing for like trout in the Great South Bay. We fished for like bass. like a sea bass type thing, a striped bass. But I had a fish tank. I kept goldfish when I was a kid, but it wasn't anything like in the hobby. I had a community tank, I think, at one point with like a bala shark, like a 20-gallon tank. Kind of, this is in the 90s. I think it was very common that a lot of people didn't know what they were doing. So I had like a bala shark and a 20-gallon high with some other tetras. And I don't remember the specifics, but I think it didn't last more than a year or so. But yeah, I was out of the hobby for a while. I didn't keep fish in high school or college or even in my 20s until 2016. So December of 2016, I got my first community tank. But yeah, I didn't really grow up in it, but I was always kind of enamored by wildlife and fish and symbiotic relationships and breeding and all that kind of stuff.
Okay. So did you play any sports or anything in high school?
Yes and no. Not in high school, really. So believe it or not, I played soccer for like 7 years when I was a kid. I played soccer a lot, and then I played football. Played football for a few years, but I got really bad knees. I messed up my knee, had ankle surgery, and didn't play in high school. I played a lot of pickup basketball after college and stuff like that at the LA Fitness. Played a lot of pickup ball, but I haven't even done that in a few years and packed on a few pounds. So,
hey, I think that may happen to all of us. But man, that's cool, man. You know, this is one big question.
Go ahead.
Oh, one big question.
I was going to interrupt. Ali Sean AS says, Ryan, where are you from? And I'll lie. He assumes South Shore. You assume correct, probably because I said Great South Bay instead of the Sound. But yeah, I'm from Bellport. Well, I'm from Brookhaven Hamlet, if you know what that is, Brookhaven Hamlet. But I went to Bellport High School. So.
Okay. Was it hometown people?
Yeah, I don't know where they're from, but yeah, I gotta support the Long Island people.
Hey, amen. Because Texas will sometimes come through here and fill up the chat on me, you know, and I didn't even know a lot of them are like right around me, and I had no idea. Buffalo Photo, Patty, Petite Tanks, what's going on? Yeah, they right around me, and I had no idea. None.
You got a lot. My Texas geography is really bad. I know it's a big state.
Yes.
There's a lot of fish keepers out there, right? You got a lot of like Jadron Aquatics is out there. You got like some big, isn't it like something called a Galleria or something? Some big fish stores out there too, right?
Well, the Galleria is like a upscale mall where you know, yeah, just a couple of dollars won't get you anything, you know. But one thing I can say, especially from listening to like Chattanooga Ed and them talking about, and James talking about like the distance between LFSs. Man, here this LFS is everywhere. I mean, if you need a fish, go around the corner, down the street. Somebody's selling fish.
Is there a lot of importers that come into Houston too? I feel like when I've looking up for fish on Aquabid or eBay, specifically guppies, I've seen a good amount of what seem to be like importers selling from Houston. Have you seen that at all? Or
my Saturday stream is dedicated to people outside of the fish hobby that are very integral in the fish hobby that we may not know. And I'm only at, I think this will be my third. Well, actually, guys, I'm not having one tomorrow. I had to reschedule somebody, but I'm starting with local people, and I've found three importers right here around me, like right here. You know, young people, man. Like there's a couple that was actually gonna be on that tomorrow. There, man. 20 and 21. Been doing it for 4 years.
Wow. Starting really young.
Yeah.
Kudos to them, though. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because I was, you know, I had no idea. You know, some of these folks I met on Facebook have a 20 long tank they trying to get rid of, and I trade some plecos to you. I mean, and then you just get to talking to them, and you find out all this stuff, and the world just starts to open up. You know,
dude, those are my favorite conversations. When I'm dealing with local people on like Craigslist or OfferUp, I meet a lot of people, and they're all fish people for the most part are pretty cool people. And you'll meet people, and you'll be buying a tank or selling a tank, and you can tell that they're just kind of a casual fish person, and that's cool. But every once in a while, you start talking to someone, and they'll drop like a term or a specific strain of fish or something. You're like, ooh, okay, you're a nerd. Like we get into some stuff here, and then you can just dive down. And it's not always guppies. They could be into cichlids, they could be into whatever. But every once in a while, it's like I went to a guy's house. I bought a 55-gallon tank just this past week. Went to his house, and he's like, I'm into Mbuna. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I go to his house, and he was into Mbuna. Like, he had, like, stuff you couldn't find. He was geeking out, naming stuff, and he was getting fish from some guy that imports into the bayou and this. And I was like, I had no idea what he was talking about, but I was just like, I'm happy to be here, man. Just lay it on me. Like, we're family, man. Like, you're a nerd just like me. It was cool. You know,
right.
It was awesome. So I love those relationships and meeting people and then finding out that they're just as crazy as we are.
Hey, no aims. That was a 40 breeder that I shattered. But it was the same people, actually, ironically. It was the same couple. I went to their house to get the 20 long. They brought the 40 breeder here. And I just demolished it, man. Chopped my arms up. Oh, man, it was crazy. You know, it broke my heart. It really did. Shattered my heart along with the glass. It was crazy. Oh, and speaking of nerd, Rachel O'Leary called me a nerd last week.
I watched your live stream with her, man. It was very good. It was very good.
You know, I'm like, what? Fish nerd? Me? Thank you. You know, coming from you, thank you very much.
I mean, you're sitting there, so I mean, you're dropping names. I mean, for you, and I know because we've talked before about the Tiger Teddy on Instagram a little bit back and forth, and I know you have some now, right? I have had like limited success, man. I've noticed for sure I had at least one baby. But I've been losing adults just kind of like every once in a while. I feel like I have less and less adults, and I've still only seen the one baby after a year now.
Oh, I have 3. I initially got like 10 in, lost 7 in shipment. So I had the 3, 1 female, 2 males, and they were fry. I mean, my female, she's been carrying, man. I mean, she's big. She's been ready to drop for a minute. You know, and I'm hoping it's soon. But yeah, it's.
Dude, I mean, I don't want to damper your parade, but like that's the same thing that happened to me, man. I'm seeing these big females, and you know, live bearers. You see that the females get plump, and they get that boxy when they start to get that squared up. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing these tiger teddies. They're small, but they were thick, man. They were boxy. And I'm like, oh, anytime now. They were in. I separated them too. I had one group in a 10-gallon and one group in like a 15-gallon. Totally like planted, tons of Java moss and guppy grass, and I'm just waiting, looking at these boxy females, and literally one fry in a year. So I don't know. Ooh. And actually, Barrier Aquatics, the gentleman I was talking about earlier from Long Island, I believe he has some as well, and he had a similar situation where I think he eventually lost all of his. It just kind of faded away. So yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna have to do some. I'm gonna have to do some research on that too, man. I'm gonna have to find out what's up with that though. Cause, man, okay, I got the least killifish first. And I'm like, man, these some cute little fellas right here. I really like these. Then saw the tiger teddies. I'm like, oh my God. Look at that gold spot with the stripe. Oh man, I said I got to do this. Mm-hmm. I harassed you. I harassed everybody I could find it. Everybody was saying the same thing. Man, I have a little group. But finally I had somebody say, hey man, I got some. I'm gonna send you a few. Lost 7, coming to me. And then the 3 I have, they sitting on my nightstand in a 1 gallon, like a peppermint box with a DIY filter pump I made.
Yeah.
So I can
always keep an eye out. I understand.
Susan, what's going on? Thank you for coming through, ma'am. Atkins, I see you. Oh, what's happening? Thank y'all for coming. But yeah, man, that was for Miss O'Leary to tell me something like that. And I have right there, I have the Snakehead Betta Cenotes, and she was like, oh man, those are beautiful. Hey, what you say, sexy little fish. And I'm like, yes, I agree.
Let me ask you, have you bred them yet? Do you have a pair, or what do you have?
My male is holding. He's holding right now.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
got
Yeah,
I got a pair of those like a couple months ago, like a month or two ago. I got a pair of those from from Jesse over at HC Aqua. I saw he's in the chat.
That's where I got mine from. Jesse is in here.
Yeah,
I see him. What's up, Jesse, man? Hey, being a stranger, man. What's going on?
That's cool, man. I also have the Betta macrostoma. Although I think I got all females, man. I got all females.
Man.
I gotta track down a male somewhere. But even the females, dude, they're big. They are chunky, man. Beautiful.
RO?
Yeah, that's the only tank that I do RO. Not complete RO, but it's the only tank I use RO. And when I originally set it up, I set it up with like 50-50, and I just kind of top it off with RO. But it's a couple of them. I got a 55-gallon tank with just a couple of them in there. But I got to track down a male somewhere. So if anyone wants to trade, if anyone has 2 males or something, wants to trade me a male for a female, let me know.
Right. So tell me, what is the difference? Because there's the macrostoma, Cenotes. There's one more that when I say they're almost exactly alike, almost. But I mean, what's
I know that. Well, the Cenotes and the macrostoma, besides the price difference, which is a big price difference, but the Cenotes are one of the smaller wild bettas. And I am not by any means an expert on wild bettas at all. But as far as I know, the macrostoma are actually one of the largest of the wild betta types. Like I said, I haven't had the Cenotes as long, but my betta macrostoma females they're big. I mean, they're 4 inches probably.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
They're like 3.5. They're big. And the male macrostoma, I know the male Cenotes gets that reddish color with the white tips. The male macrostoma will get this very strikingly near the dorsal fin, gets this vertical striped pattern. I've never seen it in person because I don't have one, but it's very striking even in pictures. And I imagine in person, it's unbelievable.
Okay, and the Cenotes has that speckling along the.
They call it the snakehead, right?
Snakehead, yeah.
Yeah, so it's got that little. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm crazy about them. I was the splendens guy. Splendens. I had quite a few different types of labyrinth fish, jewels. But the Bettas will take your house over. The splendens, they take your house over.
Yeah.
You can't have them together. I mean, you can, but you can't.
You got to really stay on top of it, right? I've never done it myself, but you got to either jar them singly or, I mean, it's a ticking time bomb, right? For a while you can do it together, but eventually something's going to happen, right?
It's like early on in my life, I used to have game bred pit bull terriers, and you'll have a litter of puppies, brother and sister. They're fine, they chilling. You have a yard, you got a yard full of dogs, all from the same litter. One female may come in the heat. I mean, it could be something, food, one little something. If one decides he's gonna get mad and fight the other one, it's done. They can no longer, for nothing, nothing you can do to put them back together ever again.
It's over. It's broken.
And that's how it is with the Bettas. I noticed you can have, let's say you got a spawn, and I mean you rolling the dice though, but just the spawn, they getting pretty good size. You got them in your big toes. You got a lot of plants and stuff in there. You got hides, you got sight breaks, you got all this going on. They chilling. And with me, especially with the sorority, it's always a female that started off.
Yeah, I've heard that with cichlids too. That's why I say you keep an all male cichlid tank, but as soon as you drop that one female in there, forget about it. Just forget about it. Yeah, I don't keep too many cichlids or fish like that. I mean, we'll see if I get these bettas to breed. I won't run into the problem too much. But yeah, I've been contacted by people locally, like, hey man, I got like 100 bettas and I don't know what to do with them. And I'm like, Either do I, bro. Like, either do I. Sorry.
One thing I can say about my LFS, there's a pretty good store credit trade-in value. Because he's one of the cats that has like the giant Betta walls,
Okay.
like huge, and
they move some fish, yeah.
Yeah, he has show Bettas. He's got wild Bettas, not like your Macastone or Cenotes, anything like that. More like your Avatar. I mean, they're really hybrid in a sense, but your the ones from Vietnam, you got your
I just know the splendens and then the Macrostoma, the Cenotes. That's about my extent of beta.
Well, they're still considered splendens. They're just wild. They're just wild versions of them.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of those. I mean, I can go. You take some Petco Bettas and breed them, and you raise them up well, and they look good. He'll give you $5 to $8 a piece.
Oh wow!
Just depending,
Yeah.
He moves them though. Yeah, he also has giveaways sometimes with them, like kids come in and they can adopt them and different things. But he sells a lot of them too.
Yeah, that's the key, man. If you know somebody, I mean, I'm in Orlando, and Orlando's a pretty big city, and we have our fair share of LFSs around town, sprinkled here and there. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one that has one of those huge beta racks. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that move some betas. I know there's some stores definitely have some betas, but I can't think of the top of my head that there's like a huge store that you could drop, betas off with any quantity. But yeah, it's lucky to have that source to move fish, and that seems like a good price for a wholesale price for sure.
Yeah, he don't be tripping. I come in, I'm like, hey, I hit him on speed dial. Yeah, come in. Look, one of those situations where he'll say, hey, if I'm not there, show the girls the text message, and they'll hook you up or whatever. But man,
that's what's up.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All I can say is, man, I'm blessed in a lot of those scenarios, man. He's given, like I have some I had blonde endlers.
Okay.
And I wanted to get rid of the whole colony. Man, he gave me $1 a fish.
That's solid, man. If you get a whole colony, it's good networking to make friends with people at your LFS and get to know them and support them, and then like I said, hopefully they support you too.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky to make some friends with some of the LFSs around me as well, to be able to those special order fish and that kind of thing, which is nice.
Most definitely. Hey, now some of them, I had one. I made a series of videos on my platinum red-tailed Dumbo ear guppies. Hey, I'm finna shut down the market. I got them going hard over here till the fry start growing up, and it's like,
what, they weren't breeding true? What?
Nowhere close to true. I'm like, I'm looking at all of these fish in this 55-gallon. Who
it was like a what? Yeah.
Who snuck in? I mean, was it? It must have been a fish hiding in that tank with him. He had to be in there.
Yeah.
Then the tank was in the in the back end of the store. The lights were dim. It was one of those slightly seedy mom and pops. So I mean, it wasn't a lot of light back there. So
yeah,
it could have easily been one or two fish hiding in that tank. Oh man. Now
that stinks, man. That's why beautiful. People don't always see that though, because a lot of times, you buy fish, whether you buy a pair or you buy fish, you grow them up, maybe you lose them, maybe you get them to breed, they don't breed true. There's so many things that can go wrong along the way of trying to, get a fish, whether you're trying to breed it for profit or just breed it to, have more of them, whatever. So many things that can go wrong.
Right. Now, what got you started on the your interest as far as your local fish, native fish?
Man, I'm trying to think where it happened exactly. Probably some of my local fish friends. So since I'm like started out very budget in the fish keeping hobby, buying used tanks, and then just trying to work my way up, selling cherry shrimp culls, I've met a lot of people. And one of my good close friends to this day is Jose with Wakaiva Aquatics, and I know that one of my first collecting trips was with him. I definitely credit him with my continued interest in these wild type live bears, whether they be the least killifish. I have like the yellow belly Cuban live bear, which I know someone in the chat was talking about earlier. I got those originally from my friend Jose. I'm working with a Limia species, the Limia tridens. I got those also from Jose. So a lot of the native stuff, whether it's, well, I should say, a lot of the wild stuff, whether it's native or wild live bears from other parts of the world, I think my buddy Jose really piqued my interest in that kind of stuff for sure.
Okay. So is that where the wild come from in wild fish tanks?
Yeah, that was actually Corey from Aquarium Co-op, believe it or not. So how that came to be was I had Lucky Schmuck's Fish Cave, which I'll get into that a little bit. So originally it was Lucky Schmuck's Fish Tanks. The first rendition was Lucky Schmuck's Fish Tanks, and the whole Lucky Schmuck thing was just kind of my first videos, and I still do it occasionally. I go out and I try to find good deals on tanks and get lucky finding stuff and putting stuff together. So that's where kind of Lucky Schmuck's Fish Tanks came from. And then since I was kind of had my man cave in the garage, fish cave, breeding plecos, fish cave, pleco cave. So I changed it to Lucky Schmuck's Fish Cave. And then I realized that two things with schmuck. Number one, it's not the nicest word, some people really find it offensive still. Very few, but it can have like a derogatory meaning. And also it's really hard to spell. It's not the easy thing to spell. So while Corey was out here visiting, we were kind of just spitballing different name changes. I made the decision I wanted to switch the name. And he said, well, you're doing some collecting already. You're getting out in the wild. Why not wild aquariums? And I said, Corey, I remember you saying that one of the things you hate about your name is Aquarium Co-op, and you wish you would have named it something about fish tanks. I'm paraphrasing here. I know he doesn't hate the name Aquarium Co-op, but I know that he has said in the past that fish tank and fish tanks is easily more searchable than the word aquarium, because believe it or not, even I mess up that word sometimes too. So he said wild aquariums, and I said, no, how about wild fish tanks? And Wild Fish Tanks was born.
Okay. Coolness, most definitely.
Yeah.
So the direction of your fish den, how did you foresee? Was it already a plan in your head? You know what I mean? As far as running in the air, when that came about, building the racks, when all that came about, as opposed to the ones that you just had going around, the wall and the benches. Was that already foreseen?
Yes and no. So at first it was kind of just like, okay, I got some tanks on the far wall, like this bench. And then I built that original rack system that was just like the 2x4s and cinder blocks. And then when I started filling in the middle, I was like, kind of like in my mind, I was like puzzle piecing it to try to give my big self enough room to, maneuver between the tanks, but also try to fit as much in there. And then last year when I built those rack systems, I kind of started, planning out, okay, this could fit there, this can fit there. And then I haven't done a YouTube video on it, but if you follow me on Instagram, which I still post every day on Instagram, a couple months ago now, about a month or two, I built 2 more rack systems for some 10 gallons and some 40 breeders. And those kind of go on another wall, but pretty much at this point, there ain't much room left in there. So I don't know. I got a few things up my sleeve, but there's not too much room left to grow in the fish cave right now.
So are you looking at website, storefront?
Yeah, I have a website right now, wildfishtanks.com. I'm going to expand to offer more products this year. Right now, it's just the fish that I breed. So eventually, it'll be hopefully, I'm actually talking to people about bringing on a fish food, some pleco caves, so some other fish accessories that would go with the fish themselves. But other than that, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, just kind of slowly expand that. And then I have a shed in my backyard, so I may expand into there next too. We'll see.
Already. When are you as far as you're going out and collecting? When do you see another trip? And are you gonna go with people? You like going by yourself?
I try not to go by myself, but dude, man, okay. So 2 weeks ago now, last weekend or 2 weekends ago, I think 2 weekends ago, I had an opportunity to go collecting with a gentleman named Zane, who goes by species.spotlight on Instagram. If you don't follow him, he is a must follow, in my opinion. He doesn't keep a lot of fish per se, but he's very much into what they call micro fishing. So a lot of the least keely fish, the flag fish, the bluefin keely fish, lots of darters, all these cool native fish that you can dip in. Go ahead.
Wait a minute. Let me interrupt you. Did you mention micro fishing today on your video?
I don't know if I mentioned it today. I mentioned it on my YouTube post a couple posts ago.
Because I went and watched later a lot of micro fishing videos today. So I heard it today.
That's funny. You might have heard it today. Yeah. I mentioned it on an Instagram post, but I don't think it was today. But yeah, man, I got to do it for the first time last week, and it was cool. It takes a lot of patience, I tell you that. But literally the hook is like, you're talking about like a little tiny fraction of my thumb there. And the fish, you got to really look and pay attention. I mean, you know how small least keely fish is, right? Imagine catching even a female least keely fish on a hook. Imagine that.
Man.
It's super, super tiny. So long story short, I had an opportunity to really go collecting. Like, I've gone collecting in the past, but when I went collecting 2 weeks ago with my friend Zane, it was like in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's like, oh, leech over here, an ant bite over there, my finger is swollen, whatever. That's part of the game, dude. We're keeping marching through. There's usually a gator that hangs out over there, but he's not there today, whatever. Like, we did some cool collecting and found some really cool fish. Some of you guys may know of the pygmy sunfish, like the Elisoma. We dip netted plenty of those. So I've got that footage. It's not edited yet, but I'm not giving an exact date. But in the next month or two, that'll be out. And that's, I hate to say my favorite to date, but maybe my favorite collecting trip to date. I think the next collecting trip, the newest collecting trip is always like the favorite one though. But yeah, it was a blast, man. It's next level. It was fun. And Zane is next level. His knowledge is next level. He knows like scientific names. He knows like this is the native range of this. He was getting excited because this fish had never been found that south before, or that north before. So he's a knowledgeable dude too.
Okay. Micro fishing. Yeah, man. I'm actually after this stream, I'm gonna go and sit down and binge all of those micro fishing videos. I want to believe it was you.
Probably wasn't today. I don't think it was today. Let me ask you this: do you remember any of the names of the individuals that you?
No.
No. Okay. Let me know. Message me later. Tomorrow, okay. Or message me. If any of them stand out or anything, let me know who they are.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that was ironic though. That was strange.
But yeah, man, it's just a cool other part of the hobby. Like, these guys, some of them are fish keepers too. There's two other cool young dudes here in Florida. They live about an hour and a half away from me, maybe, but they do some micro fishing. They work at a pet store, work at a fish store. They do some micro fishing. That they're fish nerds too. They're really cool dudes. And I'm talking about these guys are maybe 20 or something like that. I think they're college age guys, whatever. But it's super cool to see these young guys really get into it.
Right. Question: in Florida, do y'all have stripers or white bass?
I don't know, man. I haven't done a lot of like saltwater fishing here in Florida. Normally, it's like freshwater stuff. Oh, there's freshwater. The white bass.
Freshwater.
Oh, I don't know, man. I haven't done much of that either. But I know a lot of panfish. We have largemouth for sure. But I don't know. I wouldn't know. I don't know. if we have the stripers or the white bass. I don't know.
All right, because I'm trying to. When I was thinking about native fish, we have a lot of large fishing lakes out here. Like with the professional bass fishermen and stuff like that. There's a lot of big stops on their tour here in Texas,
Okay.
and you have white bass, which they look kind of like a snook, but not quite as flat this way, just a little taller.
Okay.
But they're white and they have stripes.
I feel like I've seen them before. They're like a lighter
Thin
fish.
stripes. Yeah, thin stripes. Now you got the what they call a striped bass. Might remind you of from right behind the gill plate down, maybe kind of tarponish.
Okay.
But with a largemouth bass type of head on it, and they get huge.
Okay.
They get huge, but I guess I'm gonna have to put that in a search later on YouTube.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anybody.
You could probably, yeah. I mean, you'll be able to find out if they're down here or not. But I know when I went out with Zane the other day collecting, we did some fishing too. He caught a largemouth bass. We caught a lot of panfish, like red-breasted. I think I'm really bad with the names. I don't think we caught any pumpkin seeds, but there were some other kids at this bridge. They caught a gar, like an alligator gar or a Florida gar. So there's a lot of cool stuff, man, in Florida and Texas. I mean, I think in Texas you got some stuff too.
Yeah, I have not. I was wondering why nobody has either of those fish in a fish tank. It can't be because of the size. Ergo, the people with the giant catfish and stuff that they have now, the monster tank, monster fish people.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah.
Is a striper like a great white? If you try to keep him in, because they can't keep great white sharks alive in aquariums.
I see what you're saying. Like there's sometimes, maybe there's just some fish that just don't acclimate as well. I know when collecting native fish, even there's some species that you keep in an aquarium, but some are more resilient than others. Like least killifish are pretty resilient, but some of the like the shiners, if you keep them out of the water too long or they get a little too hot, they will fade on you very quickly. So maybe that one, just the white bass, maybe just doesn't do well at all in captivity.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, I'm talking about the resilient killifish. My least killifish, everything with water in this house, there's some least killifish in it.
That's awesome.
Some on purpose, some not. But it's least killifish in every. I don't care what kind of fish it is. They survive and not getting eaten. They in everything.
Well, I mean, if you got plenty of plants, right? I mean, they'll find a way.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I found a Florida flagfish in the guppy feeder tank at the Pet Supplies Plus up the street from my house.
That's funny. Did they know what it was or no? They probably didn't know what it was, right?
They didn't. It was very little. So I found swordtail. My first least killifish was in that tank.
Really? That's pretty cool, man. I've heard of people like going through those like the feeder tanks before, but usually like my friend Jose, he does it and tries to find just like cool little male guppies and pick them out, maybe do a little breeding project. There's a guy, I met a guy actually last week, 2 weeks ago. I bought a tank from him, and he's an older gentleman, probably in his 70s, and he's in the hobby. And what he likes to do is he goes and picks out the goldfish from the feeder tanks and grows them out and sees which ones do cool and whatever. But I've never heard of someone finding least killifish and these natives in the feeder tank, man. That's cool.
Because I started out getting the guppies, and doing that with the breed. Hey, it's nice. Let me see what I can do with this. When I found out that they were guppies and not endlers, that was before I knew the difference. So I just go and I look in the tank. Okay, what we got? Man, what is that? I'm asking the guy working there. He's like, I don't know. It's some kind of cichlid. I think it may be a largemouth bass. I mean, I'm from Texas. I grew up fishing. I'm like, no, it's not a largemouth bass.
Yeah.
I'll be back. Another week went by. I came back again. It's still in there. I say, how much you was like, it's in the feeder tank, 10 cents, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, let me get that.
I'll roll the dice for 10 cents.
Yes. He's in the tank down here below me. He's probably right now probably 2 inches.
Okay. Is it a male?
Was,
Is it starting to color up? Did it color up already or no?
No, I think it's a female. I was just using he because, you know.
No, I understand.
Yeah, I think it's actually a female.
The females are cool too, though. But they all, they all, you had to sex them. They all start out looking like females, and then as they grow,
okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, no, it could be a male then.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not an expert at sexing them. Well, I mean, once they're adults, it's easy to tell. But when I was first collecting them, I collected a bunch of little ones, and they all look like females. So I thought, this is weird. Maybe they all start out looking like females, and then the males change, which happened to be the case. So all females, they all start out with on the dorsal fin. On the back of the dorsal fin, there's a little black spot. You'll see a black spot on the bottom back of the dorsal fin. If it starts losing that, it's going to be a male, because the males will lose that and start to get the color like the flag in the body. So if you see any amount of color, or if it's losing that black spot on the dorsal, then it's going to be a male.
You got me wanting to go down there and look and see, because it's in my lower tank down there. So when I feed, I see it, but I would have to actually get on the floor, and look into the tank, to get much detail.
Next time you're down there, do it, or take a picture of anything. Take a picture and send it to me if you can. I know it's hard sometimes to take a picture, but
yeah, right. No, and see, they're so well. It's not trained. They want to eat, but I mean, if they're about to get fed, everybody's posing for pictures in here.
It's funny you mentioned that. Most of my fish are like that. Like most of my guppy strains and stuff. Like when they see me come over, whether I have food or not, it's like all little at the water. But for whatever reason, some of my Endler strains, like the El Tigre, okay, when I'm over there, man, they, I know you didn't ask the question, but the worst fish, the most pain in the butt fish for me to catch is the El Tigre, because they just hide. They just always go to the back of the tank. They're awesome if you're just chilling there. But the second you go to like put your hand in or feed or whatever, they're super skittish. I don't know if that's because they're like a wild strain technically or what. But they just dart back and just hide, man. It stinks.
Hey, there's no telling it. It could just be a genetic thing for them. I mean, I have some giraffe cichlids, venustas.
Mm-hmm.
My venustas, I have 3, they're about 3 inches. Not afraid of nothing, not tripping. No holds barred. Hey, we see you. Do you have food? What you got going on? Now, I have two jaguar cichlids, 3 inches. They're not trying to be bothered.
They're just shy and
yeah, they.
It's
put
funny.
Some food in there. They might come out and eat, but other than that,
they just kind of.
They're like, hey, 3 feet away, sir.
It's funny you mentioned the genetic thing, because I think, first off, obviously the type of fish, like some certain cichlids are going to be more aggressive and more outgoing than others and whatever. But I think it also does depend on like the specific fish, and like fish have different personalities. And I was actually watching, Charles Clapsaddle with Goliad Farms over there in Texas.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was watching one of his videos, and he was mentioning how he has those tubs and how when it overflows, and he said that like the live bear is actually like natively selecting for live bears that will swim, what is that, with the current or against the current? Because like some live bears will swim, with the current, and those just go over.
Let's go out. Yeah.
So it's a naturally selection, and I think he made the example of like a waterfall, like in nature, fish below the waterfall. If you put them at the top, they'll just swim right down. Whereas the population at the top, same species, but the population at the top, they won't swim down, because the ones that were born up there and stay up there, they know not to go down that waterfall or whatever. I just thought it was interesting that maybe there's, that could actually happen. Like you could, whether you try to or not, or it's nature, it could be a or it could be a natural selection, or you can artificially select for a trait such as swimming with or against the current. It's crazy.
I'm pretty sure you can, and you could probably do it subconsciously depending on if you're somebody who is really governed by feelings that your fish or whatever give you in certain scenarios or situations, and okay, these fish right here do this, so you're keeping them. The other ones you done took them to the pet store and got rid of them. They breed. There's more babies. Now you're getting more and more that's doing the same thing. You'll end up with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think, yeah, I breed some fish, and you don't think about that sometimes, that, we are definitely artificially selecting for certain things, whether we know about it or not. Some of these things, some of the traits, maybe we're seeing them, some of the traits we don't see them, but without a doubt, we're definitely kind of artificially selecting for certain things.
Yep.
Beyond just the color,
That controlling human animal. Big Easy, what's going on? Chalupa, no tomatoes. I see y'all sliding in over here. Jay Oliver, welcome, sir.
Appreciate you guys all hanging out. I don't know how many of you guys are East Coast.
Man, I got to get used to that, knowing the difference in the time slots, because most of the schedules are Eastern oriented.
Yeah.
I'm Central, so I know mine.
Come here. Sorry, the dog. I got the dogs going crazy in the background.
Oh yeah, no, he's cool. I'm Eastern, so I'm thinking. I'm Central, so I adjust everything East Coast way, and then I forget that there's people on the West Coast.
Yeah,
it is.
I think I'm lucky, man. Growing up in New York and now living in Florida, it's always been East Coast, and we're lucky. Like East Coast is lucky that most things, I think, like nationally, it's always usually like East Coast and then like Pacific time. But usually East Coast is like the dominant one. I would think living in Central Time Zone or Mountain or whatever, I feel like that would be a pain in the butt. I answered this question. I see Florida Fish Rescue says, "Are you near Sarasota?" No, I'm actually near Orlando. I'll be at the Pasco County Aquarium Club meeting tomorrow. Actually, if anyone's in Central Florida, it's about an hour and a half from me, but it's on the west coast of Central Florida, a little north of Tampa. There's a Pascal. I think it's PascalFish.com. I went there for the first time last month. Really cool people. There was like I don't know, a lot of auctions, a lot of different bags of fish. So if you're local, see you there.
Melvin, Florida Fish Rescue, welcome in. Melvin, man, you got to stop streaming so late, man. I hadn't been able to catch you lately, man. And how you been, dude? How you been? So, what direction would you like to see the hobby go, or is that something that you put any thought into?
I'm just happy that the hobby seems to be on the up and up. I think we were mentioning kind of before the stream, we were talking about, trying to find tank deals on OfferUp and Craigslist. And I was mentioning that in the last like 6 months or a year, it's been more slim pickings. And I think that's actually a good thing for the hobby. This is just me kind of making an assumption here, but I feel like maybe more people taking those old tanks that are collecting dust in their garage, and instead of listing it on Craigslist, they're like, oh, let's set it back up again and dive into the fish keeping world. So I think that's true. I've seen that a lot of fish tubers popping up. It seems like the fish tube community is strong. Seems like a lot of local fish stores, for the most part, it's pretty strong. A lot of online vendors and stuff. I feel like I've been fairly successful in the past couple of years. So I think that the hobby as a whole is growing, whether it's fresh water, salt water. I mean, obviously, right, there's always trends. There's African cichlids and live bears, plants, and whatever. I don't really know or care where that goes. I'm going to do my thing. There's a lot of fish you guys haven't seen yet. A lot more live bears, a few more cichlids, some Lake Tanganyika cichlids, some crebensis and dwarf cichlids, stuff like that. I definitely want to shift in some larger Lake Tanganyika cichlids. I've been talking about getting Frontosa for like 2 or 3 years now, and I'm definitely not closer than I was. I have my largest tank right now is a 55 gallon, so I'm not close to getting frontosa anytime soon.
Right.
In the next couple of years, I'd like to set up a big frontosa colony and maybe do some bigger Lake Tanganyika cichlids. We'll see.
Okay. So, as far as all the fish that you own, what would you consider just hobby fish, as opposed to fish that you're selling and providing for the consumer?
That's a good question. So a while back, I don't know when, a year ago or so, I kind of drew like a mental Venn diagram, the big old 2 big circles, whatever, in my head. And in one circle was all the fish that I thought that I enjoyed, right? Okay, this is the fish I enjoy. I'd like to keep it. I probably can keep it successfully. I can afford it. I can have the tank space for it, whatever. Put those in one circle. And the other circle was, here's all the fish that, I can potentially breed. There's a market for them. I can, do the whole breeding for profit thing. And then I tried to find and select fish that were in the middle. So that's where we get a lot of these guppies, the bristlenose plecos. These are all, these wild type lie bears. They're fish that I enjoy. I like. I think they're cool. And they're also a fish that I feel as if there's a market for them. I can breed them. There's a market for them. And, I can help pay for my hobby, maybe even more by doing it. So I'd say most of the fish fit in that pocket. There's not many fish that are solely just hobby that I'm not trying to breed. Actually, I've been even cracking down further on that. Some of the fish that I'm bringing to the auction tomorrow are like the Congo. I have 2 pairs of Congo tetras. I have some dwarf neon rainbow fish. I have some Australian rainbow fish. And these are all going to be breeding projects, but I just don't have the time and the space to do all those fish as well. So I'm just going to move on. I'm going to move on. I know some people at the club, hopefully they'll tackle them as breeding projects because these are adult fish that are, I had been conditioning to breed. So I know that some people at the club hopefully will tackle that project. But right now I'm focusing on some other stuff.
Okay. I won't as in not going to probably actually get, but a huge tank of Congo tetras, man. It just seems to me like that would be such a beautiful experience, highly planted with some reed is not the word, but let's say like your val type,
like a jungle val or something. Yeah,
those type of plants with just full of Congos, man. I think that would be awesome.
No, I think they're an underrated fish. I think they do get some love, but I think a lot of times they're not the cheapest fish. And they take some time to really kind of, mature and really show what they can be. But, man, when you see, like, a full-grown male, especially with the longer fins and that, like, it's kind of like an orangey, greenish kind of sheen.
Shimmer, yeah.
Yeah, it's a neat fish, man. And that's why, like, I wanted to tackle them, but I just know that after telling myself I'm going to tackle them and knowing right now that, like, I don't even know where I'd put the babies, and it ain't going to happen. So I got to do the right thing and get them to someone that will actually, tackle them, take them on as a project, All
right, we got 2 questions we're going to hit. One from Trent, well done, Tanks. Ryan, what is your favorite fish to breed?
Jay. Sorry, I was reading Jay's comment about me being a computer. Hey, Trent, what's going on, man? My favorite fish to breed. Oof. My favorite fish to breed. That's a tough one, man. I guess right now is the Cenotes petricola, and that's not that I've actually tackled that one yet. That's one that I have bred a couple times. I actually got some growing out right now that are a couple months old. Knock on wood. I got that's the largest I've gotten that many of them, and I actually just pulled eggs. I got another batch of wigglers, and that's just the most satisfying. I guess it's the most satisfying one. I don't know if favorite. It's the most satisfying one to work on right now because I know that it's probably going to be the next one that I crack the code. And, live bears and bristlenose plecos, they're cool. But the Cenotes petricola has been a little more challenging. And I think it's going to be just that much more rewarding when I finally actually kind of really get it going.
Okay. What's up, Aqua Balls? Yeah, George said he loves to breed Petricola. Hey, y'all, don't be afraid or nervous for me when you see me swatting and looking off into to the air. I have turned up my my tank pond-ish game in this little bitty fish room I have. And with that, because of all my plants and everything, I have critters that live on the other side of the water, that found their way in here.
Dude, at least once I don't know if you guys have the lizards and the I don't know if they're anoles or lizards, whatever they are. They're all over Florida. They're in the garage all the time. But at least once a week, especially now it's that season, I get surprised by a frog. I'll be doing something, pick up something, whatever. There's a Cuban tree frog just like pops out of nowhere, man. So I consider the fish cave its own ecosystem at this point. There's always just stuff going on in there, man.
Here we have a nose, not many tree frogs. You see a few, but it's geckos.
Okay.
Yeah, gecko are just like back here. This is the back of the house. Want to be scared. I'm like, dude, first of all, how did you get all the way back here? There had to be a crack or something for him. See, I know he didn't walk all the way from the front of the house.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a lizard. You just don't know.
But it's just like the fish, man. You ever have fish that just like, how the heck did you get in here? Or you put the fish in the tank and you swear there's nowhere for it to hide, but you know it's hiding somewhere. You swear it's dead, then it's alive. Like fish can hide in the craziest places sometimes too. It's like, I know you're in there still, and then you see them a couple days later. And it's always like the new fish too, man. To this day, whenever I get new fish, for the first couple days, I'm always like doing that counting game. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're all there. Like it's actually one of my newest fish. I got a Lake Tanganyika cichlid called, I'm gonna butcher this. It's called the Chanelachromis popolini or popolini. And I think I got 9 of them. And I've only been able to count 8 for the last like 2.5 days. And I'm sure the 9th one is still in there or whatever. But it's just like I haven't been able to actually get all 9 at the same time in like 2.5 days now. And I'm like, I'm not freaking out, but I just hope I haven't lost one.
Hey, my ram's horn snails, they are the culprit sometimes. I have 2 cobra guppies that I have in a little breeding project. I've had him for a few months. So I found this new one I picked up. He's larger than the first one, 20-gallon high. They were doing good for a good 2 days. Then all of a sudden, I come in, I'm feeding, I don't see him. Now, mind you, it'll take a little while for these snails to eat a whole fish. And then you would think the bones would have to be in there. But this guppy disappeared. Top of the water is full of hornwort and the duckweed. There was no jumping out. No jumping out. Impossible. I say impossible, but I mean
I was gonna say, dude, I've had people always talk about killifish jumping. I'm not a killifish expert, but I had some killifish that Preston John had sent me, and I thought I had that thing on tight. Thought I had it on tight. Killifish jerky, like they find a way, man. They find a way. Fish will jump through freaking anything. It's crazy.
Man, my golden wonder killifish used to do that to me all the time. I had this thing where I'm gonna breed these because they were so easy to breed. I would always find a little baby. So I said I'm gonna make a concerted effort to start me a breeding program of these golden wonder killifish. I don't care, dude, what I do. I get eggs, come out, female is on the floor. Go a little while, the male is hanging around, he's chilling, he's on the floor. I'd raise the baby up to about 2 inches. I don't care what I did, where I put him, floor.
Wow.
So I just stopped getting golden wonder killifish. I just left them alone.
Man. That stinks, man. I mean, I feel I do that sometimes too with fish or plants. Like you try something, you try to tackle it, and you just can't crack the code, and you just kind of like wave the white flag,
Yeah, I don't, I don't understand it. Let me see what it say. Killifish, you have to seal the lid with super glue. Yeah, yeah, man. Hey, I swear I don't understand. Lost two of his best tiger endless to jumping out. I haven't lost any endless like that, but oh man. One I had a let me get the name. I tried to remember earlier what this Betta was. I hate this. It was imported from Vietnam.
Okay.
Embellis?
I've heard of that one before. I don't know what it looks
Mostly,
like. That definitely is a beta. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know what.
yeah.
Don't ask me what it looks like or what the characteristics of it are.
Yeah, he had this shimmering green, because he would still be considered a splendens. Shimmering green metallic body, man. I mean, the fins was somewhat long, but they weren't like as we know, splendens over here,
That
they just
flowy,
came,
that big, yeah.
yeah, they just came down like, the pectoral fin, they didn't have the little hang down. It was streamlined fish, but when he wanted to take off, he could take off. And if I let him face up with another one, and do some exercise, let him face off and get you, so he could open up, and you could see really what the fins would do.
Yeah.
Again, I had the water that far from the top of the tank. Now I had half lid. It was a 10-gallon glass lid, and I didn't have the plastic strip on the back.
Okay.
But I had some plants back there, I had some pothos. I was like, oh, hey, we looking at 4 inches of water gone with pothos plants back here. I should be good.
Yeah, you got the Olympic high jumper beta. Oh,
On purpose. So this 10-gallon tank had probably 6 gallons of water in it, seven, a little more than half, but he came out of there. I just, hey.
yeah. It's tough, man. Sometimes right now I have my Cenotes tank and my I have a cover on my Beta macrostoma tank. I have a reptile cover. I have a mesh lid on the 55-gallon on my Beta macrostoma tank, and it's like 6 inches down. I ain't messing around with the Beta macrostoma. Those guys are staying in that tank.
Yes, I understand. I understand that one. Yes, I understand that one, man. That's a holy grail fish. I mean, if you ask me, but yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. It's pretty crazy. That was my first wild beta. I got those from Preston even before I got the Chenoides from Jesse. So I'm definitely very lucky to have been able to had the Beta macrostoma have them as my first ever wild type beta. Other than PetSmart beta as a so. And
it's crazy with my Chenoides how I have a true feeding program like with them. I have frozen bloodworms. I have frozen brine shrimp, adult brine shrimp. I have frozen krill. I have the tetra flake granule thingy, my barbers. I have the little
the LRB special.
I have the little pellets, and I have like a alarms set on my phone for certain days of the week. I'm gonna feed this.
I love it, dude.
No,
I love it, man. That's awesome. I have alarms right now on my phone for mostly my live food cultures for feeding those and the brine shrimp and stuff like that.
Oh, I have white worms also. My fault.
Nice.
They're live though. Yeah.
Yeah. No, dude. Live food's the best. There you go.
Now this culture, I bought it probably 6 months ago in a little bitty cup.
Oh yeah, I can see it. That's booming, man. You got it cranking.
And it's maybe 2 tablespoons of dirt on top of some dish sponges.
Okay. What do you feed it?
Old, outdated cichlid pellets.
Okay. Yeah, no, a lot of people do like old fish food or old dog food or whatever. That's awesome, man. You could tell you got a nice little colony going. I saw them all there, congregating or whatever.
Yeah, they be doing. I get a little fish tank water, not enough to where it fills up the bottom of anything. But if I do it like this, I can see it moving around, and I keep it up high so it stays humid. With the heat up there. But yeah, they've been booming, man. They've been booming.
That's good, man.
Because I didn't want to
appreciate it.
I didn't know if I wanted to fool with the brine shrimp eggs, and I don't know. It didn't. It looked like it was too much for me to want to. It's not that it was hard, but it just looked like it was tedious.
Yeah, I think no, I agree. It's not that it's difficult per se, but it's a little involved. It's not that bad. It does take some commitment. I'll be honest. Like there's times where I get in the groove and then I fall off, just like a lot of things. But you definitely notice it with the guppies, even the adult guppies. I noticed larger drops. I noticed it seems like more successful, quicker raising of the fry and more successful. But you have live foods too. I don't know that. I know baby brine shrimp is considered like the standard, but I don't know how. I mean, white worms. I don't know how much worse white worms are than baby brine shrimp. They're
alive.
Yeah,
and they're very. You can feed them to very small fry. Thank you for coming through, Trent. You can feed them to very small fry because looking at them like that, you could get this picture in your head of how big you think they are until you rinse them off the little card with water, and you're like, hey, those are very small. I have some fish that will just watch them go by. Like, what is that? That's all.
Like, I ain't wasting energy on that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we gonna do. Ooh, but yeah, no, it's cool. I had to try something, so I was like, man, I did black worms first, but I made a mistake. I was gonna do them in a 10-gallon tank, and have them living in a substrate. That was my attempt. And I don't know, some reason I decided to put a fish in that tank.
Next thing, yeah. It depends. Like I had actually a black worm culture in my 29-gallon tank in my front room over here going for a while. And I had some guppies in there, some bristlenose plecos, and I'm sure they chomped down on them, but the black worms were definitely multiplying. But I know if you put like a Corridora or something that's going to like really go after them, forget about it. Or I guess the right fish, just feels like it just go after them like crazy.
Full leaning over sideways, like, man, what happened? You didn't want to lean any? Aquaball said he's got 3 aquarium co-op blenders going every day.
It's a lot of brine shrimp.
GRB said I have recently found my Daphnia have returned in force into a boat pond, and I have a new video showing how to catch them. I remember as a youngster seeing Daphnia, in the little Texas waters. I can't say I see them anymore. Maybe, when I was younger, I was hanging around in more stagnant pools. And as an adult, I know better. So
perhaps. I think I found like, I think they're scuds. I'm not the best at that, but I'm pretty sure I find something like scuds for sure while collecting down here.
Fantastic Freaks. Well, thank you for coming through, though. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hey, I'm trying to set up shop here. So all you have to do is check through. I may have a different look next week. I don't know. Can you stream like this through YouTube, or do you have to use one of these types of apps in order to have another person on that with you?
Yeah, I think you need something. Like when I've done it in the past, I've used OBS. I know like StreamYard's a really popular one. Yeah, I think you need something. Maybe they may have changed. I don't know. I'm not. Don't don't take what I say as 100% fact. But I know in the past when I've done it, I used like OBS. I used a third-party thing too.
Okay. Well, Mr. Gourami, so he's got scuds now in his tanks from wild plants, but it's fish like him. My scuds, whenever I have scuds show up, they don't disappear. They just
they'll eat the plants sometimes. They can. I've heard people in shrimp tanks, they can be a nuisance. Usually in regular, like if you have like a community tank or fish, they're fine. Usually, maybe they'll survive. Maybe they'll get picked off. Maybe they'll whatever. But I've heard them out competing shrimp sometimes. Like in an all shrimp tank, people consider them a nuisance sometimes.
Okay, yeah, my guppies, I can't pay the guppies to eat scuds. I don't know. I mean, grown guppies, they're just like, hey, it's another fish. I think, they won't do it. And I don't, I'm in and out of cichlids. This is kind of the longest I've had cichlids. So if I have scuds to show up again, I might try them on them. But yeah, I'm testing the water on cichlids. I saw some venustus, and I thought, adults looked real good. And I mean, and the babies look pretty good. They're right there. That's why I'm looking over there like this. The babies look pretty good, as youngsters. So I'm gonna try it.
Go for it, man. Yeah, those venustas are a beautiful fish, man. I don't have tank space right now, but those are gorgeous fish. And it's cool how they transform when they grow, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Congrats, gain reason. Thank you, Fantastic Freaks. Thank you. Hey, that 1,000. I tell people that to me it seemed like it took a long time, but it actually didn't. I'm blessed because it really didn't. It didn't take a long time, but to me it did.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, man. It's a journey, man. Fish keeping and YouTube is it's an interesting journey, but I mean, you're gonna keep going more. And besides the 1,000, I don't know if you mentioned it on your stream or not, or whatever. But I know I mentioned it to you earlier before we went live. But happy belated birthday, everybody in the chat. I know your name's not. It's your name. How do you pronounce your name? Is Garrick, right?
Garrick. Yep.
Garrick. Yeah. Happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Or happy belated. I know it was 3 days ago.
Yeah, on the 6th. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Everyone, man, is a blessing. Everyone is a blessing. BJ Palmer, Hank, I have been very sick tonight. Would you please remember me in your prayers? I got you, BJ. I got you. No problemo. Well, we're at the hour and 12-minute mark, buddy.
All right. I appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely, man. Most definitely. I'm an energy guy. I mean, and if a lot of people, may not understand how I move on YouTube, I go on energy. It could be just watching your videos. If I look at enough of your videos, if you're playing, if you're trying to recreate yourself, in a false manner, it has a tendency to start leaking out. And then whenever there's no chances, somebody do a live or they do this, I just go on energy and I get a feel for a person. And then I move on, hey.
Yeah.
Want to come on and holler at me? Come talk to me.
No, I appreciate it, man. I think that's a smart way to move, man. I respect it and I appreciate it. And I thank you for reaching out to me.
No problem. I thank you for coming, man. Hey, it's always humbling. Oh, Bob, Garrick, I had my family all sub. Got you the first 500. Hey, thank you, man. Oh, Bob, thank you, man. Thank you very much, man. I can remember that first 50, man, on Rob 93 stream, man. That first 50. Yes.
I want to answer Patrick's question. He says least killifish and small antlers can't cross together. Can they be kept in the same aquarium? I would say yes. Have you done it ever? I've never done it personally, but they can. I don't see where it'd be an issue. Yeah.
Hey, remember I said I have least killifish in everything.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you weren't lying.
Yeah, they bleed over into everything, and they stay least killifish. So So yeah, no, you ain't got to worry about them crossing with guppies or endless at all. They look interesting to them every now and then, but that's about it. But yeah, man, thank you very much for coming. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for coming through. You know, sitting in, spending this time with us. I mean, it's always, you know, a beautiful thing, man. I believe in fellowshipping, you know, and touching and agreeing, you know, with people. I believe in it, man. I believe in it. You know, we got so many people, especially in these days and times, where there's a lot of people feel like they're alone, you know, and we, with as many people that we have around us, YouTube, in your real life, you are actually never alone. That's the enemy, the enemy convincing you of that.
No, I agree. And it's very nice to kind of do these and kind of just, like you said, share space, you know, just share a nice space and just, you know, talk fish, have a good time, share a few laughs. I agree.
Yeah.
It's definitely, you know, it's refreshing to the soul for sure. I mean, I think humans are very social creatures, and yeah, I agree.
Most definitely, most definitely. Hey, I believe the fish do healing on their own. That's another thing that we all have in common. But yeah, man, reach out to somebody. Reach out to somebody. Don't just walk by. You know, when you get that urge and that you feel inside to say something or to stop it, do it. Do it. Do it. It's for a reason. You got that feeling for a reason. Nothing just happens. Nothing
I
just
agree.
happens.
Well said.
Hey, y'all be blessed. Y'all have a wonderful night. Love each other and take care of your fish. We out.